Hey guys, it's Monica from MonicaLeonel.com, and today I'm talking about the Vampire Diaries. The reason that I wanted to do a video on the Vampire Diaries is because there are a number of people in my adult life who think that the Vampire Diaries is just another teeny bopper little show that's not worth their consideration. I've been a fan of the Vampire Diaries for years, and I think it's probably one of the best urban fantasies on television right now. So I wanted to share some of my reasons why and give you guys a couple reasons, especially if you're an adult, male or female, in your 20s, 30s, and beyond, why you might want to watch the show. So for those of you who don't know, The Vampire Diaries, it's a television series that has been adapted from young adult novels. Now, there are a number of novels in this series, and I'm not completely sure of the number, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 10 at this point. The Vampire Diaries, it's currently in its 6th season on the CW here in the US, and it has a spin-off show called The Originals, which is currently in its 2nd season. Both are going very strong still, and I could definitely see each one having a number of seasons beyond what they're at right now. So hopefully that happens, and I include that because I know for some people it's important to know that the series has some popularity and is going to continue to go on so they can be part of something that's happening now as opposed to just catching up on past seasons. So let me give you a couple reasons why I think The Vampire Diaries is great for people of all ages. It's not just for teenagers, and it's especially great if you love urban fantasy or if you love fantasy in general, and also if you love great world building, because I think that's where The Vampire Diaries truly excels. The first thing is that although it is marketed as a teen romance, it's not actually about romance, it's more about family. So just to set this up, the way it's marketed is there's a human girl named Elena Gilbert, and she has 2 vampire brothers who are fighting for her love throughout the series. So while this is kind of true, and it is a part of the series, and it continues to be a part of the series even starting at the beginning of the 6th season. So this theme does play out through the series for a while. It's really a very small part of the series itself. There are a number of other great characters in this series, and they are, they all have their own romances, but they also have their own storylines, and lots of different things happen to them, and some of them have even become fan favorites. Specifically, Caroline Forbes is one of the ones that I really like, that is not, one of the 3 main characters, which are the 2 Salvador brothers and then Elena Gilbert. And then a couple of the other characters also have some great storylines that are definitely worthy of, the fantasy genre and some of the stuff that people are looking for. So it's really not just about the romance. I find it kind of confusing that people are so against the series for this reason, because there are a number of other series that have this same exact theme. For example, True Blood. True Blood is about a human girl who has 2 vampires who are very close to each other. They're not brothers, but they're very close to each other, fighting over her. So there are a lot of adults who like True Blood, and it's very confusing to me why this is okay in True Blood and it's not okay in The Vampire Diaries. So just so you know, if you are considering the show and that's kind of a turnoff for you, it takes about as much of the storyline as that also takes in True Blood, if that makes sense. So, True Blood is for adults. I'm also a fan of True Blood, and I have read all the Sookie Stackhouse novels, which True Blood is based on, and I actually think The Vampire Diaries is better. So I don't totally understand this concern that people have. But just so you know, that's how it compares to a similar show, True Blood, which a lot of adults really enjoy and like. So take from that what you will. Again, The Vampire Diaries, it's doing really well right now. It's in its 6th season. I think the 6th season so far is great. I think what they did at the end of the 5th season is pretty phenomenal and like very smart storytelling, because now that they're starting the 6th season, they're able to kind of they've almost like reset a lot of the world so that it's able to continue, and I could definitely see it going on for many more seasons. Season 3 of the Vampire Diaries was incredible. It was, easily the best season of the whole series. And I say that, but actually all the seasons are quite good. Even the first one I thought was great. The first couple episodes are a little rough, but the rest of the season, it gets very compelling very quickly, and it's also a very good season. But in season 3, the original vampires come into town, and that whole entire explanation / story arc is absolutely fascinating. And so fascinating that they've actually done the spin-off show, which is The Originals, which is also going very strong and is also very well rated. So if you look at IMDb ratings, another thing you'll notice is that the Vampire Diaries and The Originals are rated very highly. They're rated higher than True Blood, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think that those are better shows than True Blood is. So they're rated higher than that. They're also rated on par with Supernatural, which is another phenomenal show that has a cult following that has been able to kind of reinvent itself over the years and is in its 10th season, I believe, either 9th or 10th. It's also rated as well as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is another cult show, which is also about vampires and which is also, was originally aimed at teens. That show had its spin-off as well, and I think the Vampire Diaries is honestly on par with that. I think it's as good as Buffy, if not more. I think it's better adapted to modern times as well, because of course it's made now, but I think they're comparable. The other thing, aside from just straight up ratings, the other thing I would say about it is that the Vampire Diaries has been consistently good every season, and I'm definitely the type of person who stops watching shows when they start getting stupid. The Vampire Diaries continues to hook me, though. I think it's really well done, and if you're a storyteller, as you watch the Vampire Diaries, you'll kind of be able to see how they keep doing each season new, and how they just keep kind of refreshing the old and making it something compelling again. And I think they did it again at the end of season 5, and they've been able to make season 6 really compelling, and it was at the perfect time as well, which I know I'm kind of talking about a lot of things that are hard to understand if you don't watch a show, but they do something really, really incredible at the end of season 5 that just makes the show going forward just so viable. So, given all of this stuff, I think for a series that has 22 episodes every single year, and that, is essentially having like a bigger bad every season almost, I think for that type of show to deliver very consistently over and over again every season, it's a tough feat, and the Vampire Diaries does it better than many other shows on television. I would say it's probably one of the best shows, actually, for doing this. And then lastly, aside from all of this stuff, I think the acting is phenomenal. Every single character is great, but especially the 3 main characters. The 2 brothers, I think, are phenomenal, played by Paul Wesley and Ian Somerhalder. Both have been on other television shows before. And then Elena Gilbert, who is played by Nina Dobrev, she is phenomenal. I think a good part of the success of the show has rested on her acting abilities, because she makes the character so compelling. She also plays a number of different characters on the show, which will make a lot more sense if you watch it. But there are a number of other characters who essentially look like Elena, and she plays them. She's played a number of them, and every single time she's able to deliver a completely different character, to the point where you're watching the same show and you're watching these two characters who should be pretty similar, but you can tell just by their body language, just by the way they say things, all sorts of stuff. You can tell which character it is. It's not confusing at all. And I think frankly that is phenomenal. She's won a number of awards for it. Of course she hasn't won any Emmys, because Emmys don't take CW shows seriously, but she's won a number of People's Choice Awards, all sorts of other stuff, Teen Choice Awards, etc. So the acting, I think, is very good as well. So anyway, given all of this, if you are in your 20s and 30s and you've kind of looked at the Vampire Diaries and said, oh, that looks like it's too young for me or whatever, I really recommend that you give it a try. It's definitely a great urban fantasy. If you like True Blood, I think you would love the Vampire Diaries, because again, like I said, I think it's better, frankly. If you like stuff on sci-fi, like Being Human is probably the best example I have. If you like that show, I think you would also love the Vampire Diaries, and it's been off the originals as well. So if you haven't given them a shot yet, give it a try. The Vampire Diaries, give it at least a couple episodes. I would say by episode 4 or 5, it starts to get pretty good, and it kind of snowballs. It continues to be very good. The first couple episodes are spent on world building, and they're trying to find their characters, of course. It's just like any other television show. It's not that great at first, but once you get past that, I think that you will really enjoy the rest of the series. And I'm still enjoying it. We're on season 6. I've seen the first 2 episodes of the season, and they were great, and I can't wait to find out what's next for these characters. So please check it out. If you like this video, then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post videos regularly about fantasy, sci-fi, and romance. So I would love to have you as a subscriber and, talk through some television, books, movies, all sorts of other stuff that are in those genres. You can also visit me at monicaleonel.com. I am an author and I write my own books, and I also talk about, the same types of stuff on my blog as well. So thanks for watching the video, and I will see you next time. Bye!